Okay, so this is your tips and tricks sheet for the literacy test. There are some general instructions on the top that I'd like to draw your attention to first. So on the literacy test, they used to give you lines to fill. Now they're going to give you character limits, and the character limits are equivalent to word amounts. So if it says 200, that means 200 words. You should always pay attention to those limits. One, because you can't go over them, but two, because most answers require 3/4 of the limit or more to get a good mark. So if, for instance, it asks for 100 words, you need to give it at least 75. As always, it's quality over quantity when you're answering the long and the short answer questions, but you should also pay attention to the amount of words and try to fill most of the space that they give you. The other tip that we'd like to talk about in general for the literacy test is the notepad tool. We often would tell kids on the paper test to make rough notes and use a rough notes section. Well, on this literacy test, you don't have that option because it's all online, but they have provided you with a notepad tool, which you can access at any time from any of the screens. And if you click save, it saves everything. You are in a test situation. Your brain is not going to be functioning at the same ability that it always is. You're in a stressful situation, you're going to forget things more easily. So we often recommend kids to, as soon as they get into the test, open up the notepad or rough notes in the old case and jot down any of the formulas that we've gone over or any things that you think you might forget to mention, to think about. And that way they're there and you can refer back to them. So we do recommend that you use the notepad tool. And lastly, and this is a very important note, this test is sent out to all the computers through a kiosk program that EQAO created. This kiosk program keeps track of what you're doing on the computer. So if you are to go to another program or attempt to go to another program or try to open Google or Chrome, it will shut down your test and your test attempt will be over. So for those of you who sometimes when you're reading, play with the mouse or click on buttons, you want to be very careful just to make sure this doesn't happen, because if that happens, your test attempt is over and that's all there is to it. There's no getting back in. So the other videos that follow are videos that go over the top 5 types of questions that we find students usually have trouble with, and we give you some sort of secret formulas to help make sure you understand what it is they're looking for. I also go over the rubrics and show you exactly how they mark your questions and show you some example answers right from EQAO so you can see what you're looking at. If you have questions, please, by all means, come find me. I'm in room 241 before school. I teach there all morning and I'm there every day at lunch. You can also access the online test and the videos from Beal's website. If you go to the Beal website, on the left-hand side, there's something that says OSSLT, and if you click on that tab, it'll take you to some information, and there are 2 links right at the bottom that take you to the instructional videos that show you how all the new tools work, and there's also a link to the online test. We do suggest that you go and try the online test online, even if it's just to play with those new tools and get familiar with them, so that when it comes to the test day, you're not trying to figure out the tools and you can spend the whole time just working on your answers.